Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Big Lair with Jack's Private Coffee Corner. Hope all of my patrons had a very Merry Christmas. Today is December 26th. I think it's a Thursday. Yeah, I think so. Weather here in Japan is not too bad. They're saying it's the warmest winter in 120 years. I'm not quite sure what that means. In Japan, everyone is really on the global warming bandwagon, so anytime anything is warmer than it should be, everyone's like, see, it's global warming, see, it's global warming. We've got to stop using our cars, and we've got to stop doing all this stuff, and, save the planet. Which is really funny if you've ever lived in Japan and you know how the Japanese do numerous things to actually destroy the environment, but I won't get into that. That's a whole other thing. And that's for the whole country of Japan to work out, not for me to work out. Okay, so it's December 26th. And one thing I realized yesterday after I finished my video that I should have mentioned and I didn't is, in America, we make Christmas cookies. At least, my family has done it. I'm from Wisconsin, and I always thought I was like German and Norwegian, Greek, and then something else. I'm not sure. Someone said maybe French is in there. We've got some Russian in there. That's what I thought it was. And this is what I was told by grandmothers, And I did a DNA test last year with my brother. We did that one, I forget the name of it now. Oh, Ancestry.com. Yeah, we did Ancestry.com together. Boom, sent our stuff off. Got our results back, and it turns out I'm like 26% Norwegian, 24% Swedish, which I had no idea about. I've got some, I guess English and Welsh and Scottish and Irish in there. I forget what percent that is. Those are all kind of clumped together. There's like 20%, which is the UK basically, right? English, Welsh, Scottish, and Irish. And there's, I think, 10 or 13% in there that's Northern Europe / Germany. And then the rest is Russian, I believe. So anyway, it was really interesting to do that. Just wanted to give you a background because being from Wisconsin, and there's a lot of Germans and Norwegians there. Those people love to make Christmas cookies. We have so many different kinds of Christmas cookies, you wouldn't believe it. Now, when I was a kid, there were more varieties of cookies. I can remember my maternal grandmother making all of these, what are they called now? Like Kugan cookies. They were really delicate. They had, you had this, you'd make a batter, and then you had this kind of like, what would it be? It was a very decorative, made out of like steel, I think. It was very decorative, like in flower shapes and stuff, and it had a long, so it was flat, the design was here, and it was like cut out, and then it had a handle, and you would dip that into the batter, and then you would quickly dip that into like a frying pan with oil that's been heated up. And then it would make these very delicate cookies. And then when they were done, they would kind of put powdered sugar on them or something. And I forget what those are called. I want to say something Kugan, but that might be wrong. I don't know why that comes to me. So anyway, we had all of these different kinds of Christmas cookies. And of course, the traditional, like a butter cookie that you would put frosting on also, right? But, all kinds of other cookies, just amazing. So for me, Christmas means cookies, right? Christmas cookies. And if you're lucky, your mom lets you help decorate the cookies. And even for me, once I got married, I realized, I'm living in Japan, right? I got married in Japan. And then the Japanese, they think Christmas is a Christmas cake. No one even understood. They didn't even know about Christmas cookies. I was so shocked, like, wait a second, why do you think Christmas cake? Well, again, it was, the cake industry was wondering how they could increase sales at the end of the year because they haven't made much money during the year. Oh, Christmas cakes, yeah, foreigners eat Christmas cakes. Let's be like all the foreigners. foreigners as in non-Japanese, right? So they created this huge industry of people buying Christmas cakes. And I remember people saying to me, what kind of Christmas cake are you going to buy? And I'm not going to buy any Christmas cake. Why would I do that? I'd like to have some Christmas cookies. And people were shocked, you know. So for the last 19 years, every year, it doesn't fail, I'll meet someone who asks me about, you know, did you have Christmas cake? Are you going to buy a Christmas cake? You know, something about Christmas cake, and I'll say, no, why would I? We don't eat Christmas. We don't eat cake for Christmas in America. You know, we have cookies. Now, also, you know, someone might have a pie. Like I talked to my dad yesterday on the phone. He made 2 pumpkin pies. Normally, he would get up and make about 6 or 7 pies, but now my dad's, 78 years old. Doesn't always get around that well. And doesn't have a lot of people coming to his house for Christmas, so he just made 2 pumpkin pies. You know, normally he'd be making like a pumpkin pie, a mincemeat pie, a blueberry pie, banana cream pie, sometimes lemon meringue. You know, he's doing all kinds of stuff. He's a fantastic cook. So I just think that's interesting that here in Japan, everyone thinks that we're eating Christmas cakes in America, and maybe they do in Europe. I don't know. You know, in Germany they have that Stollen, you know, that I would call that like a fruit bread, you know, that's coated with sugar. You know, they've got like dried fruits in there, right? And in fact, one of my favorite cake shop in Japan here, the guy makes a homemade Stollen, and he even makes his own brandy that he soaks the dried fruit in, and I won't get into that, but that's pretty interesting. So let's see. Yeah, so we had, fruit cake, right? I can remember fruit cake. And once one of my grandmothers said, oh, I've got this fruit cake from like 40 years ago. I'll give you a piece. And I was like, what? Yeah, you know, I guess fruit cake, because they use so much alcohol, it never goes bad. And I remember having this piece of cake that was like 40 years old. You know, a fruit cake, right? Like a slice of it, not a huge piece, obviously, because if my grandma had it for 40 years, she wasn't dishing it out to everybody, right? So yeah, fruit cake, we'd have cookies and pies, but not a proper 2-layer cake with, you know, frosting and cream or whatever, right? But nope, in Japan, everyone gets these Christmas cakes. I've had people give me Christmas cakes, and I feel pretty bad about it because the big difference between a cake in America and the cakes in Japan is that in Japan they'll use anywhere from like 1/10 to 1/2 of the sugar that we use for our frosting. Number one, that's a big difference. So, and then their cakes are like a sponge cake. You know what I mean? A sponge cake is different than a traditional cake. Do you know what I mean? You know, some of the cakes that I've had are quite moist, you know, a little, I don't want to say heavy, but you know what I mean? It's got some substance to it. Eating these Christmas cakes in Japan, these sponge cakes, it's like eating air with no taste. It's like, well, I can see the cream here, but they like these white cream frostings for some reason. And they'll put strawberries on there or whatever on this tasteless, airy cake. So I always joke with my wife and say, oh, great, someone gave us a box of air, tasteless air. And I'm joking, right? Like if someone gives me something, no matter what it is, I really appreciate it. Don't get me wrong there. I'm not I'm not knocking anyone being nice, but you know, just coming from America, and I realize the food that we eat is very heavy. It's very sweet. We like soft, sweet foods, right? Americans. And when I was a kid, man, you know, both of my grandmothers are German. So, you know, man, we had some desserts when I was a kid. Holy mackerel, we had some desserts. And, you know, even to this day, I'm just one of those people that if I eat, well, I got to clarify it. I was going to say if I eat like sweets or some kind of desserts, I'm fine. You know, I can put away, well, I'm a big guy, right? 6'4", about 250, 260 pounds, but I can put away a lot of sweets and it doesn't bother me at all. Whereas Like in Japan, people just aren't used to sweet food. They eat like, too much cake and bam, they start getting fat. But I just wanted to say, as a digression, I like homemade sweets. I like sweets that someone, an actual human that I know made it, right? Person that I know made this, and then they're sharing it with me. Like, I'll eat any kind of dessert that way, but I don't like, these mass-produced, desserts and cookies. And when I say mass-produced, I mean like, like Tim Tams. Tim Tams are kind of a popular thing in Australia and Asia here. My wife got me some Tim Tams for Christmas, actually. She got me chocolate and mint. She knows I love like dark chocolate and mint. That's just a combination that was probably made by angels at some point in history. But that's just what I like. So she found these Tim Tams, and I'm not a huge fan of Tim Tams, these processed cookies. I think the flavors sometimes are just a little, nothing special, just super sweet, I would much prefer, so of course my wife gave it to me, I really appreciate it, and I ate them. But if I had the choice, I always stick with, desserts that an actual person made, where I'm pretty close to the person. Like I go to the cake shop that my friend owns, I know he made everything from scratch, and so I'll eat that. But I really stay away from like store-bought, mass-produced desserts. I used to be, when I was a kid, I loved Hershey's chocolate and Snickers, Reese's peanut butter cups, Almond Joy, and that stuff, man, it's been years and years since I've eaten it. Now, if I was at your house and you said, "Hey Larry, I heard you like Almond Joy," Mounds, not Almond Joy. I prefer the ones without the almonds. So I like Mounds. So if you had like Mounds or Reese's peanut butter cups and said, "Hey, you want one?" Yeah, I'd have one. Just because, I rarely eat that stuff. It's been years since I've had a Reese's peanut butter, like literally years, Same with all that stuff. So yeah, I like things that people made. And that gets me into another topic. Sorry, this is kind of getting long here without getting into our crypto update. But I posted a thing last night about I'm going to start these videos, a series of videos that have these practical, anyone can do exercises to develop your psychic abilities. And I got this library of books from this very famous psychic. And he actually corresponded with me a number of times after I bought his books. And looking back, it's like, wow, he really knew what was going to happen in my future. And I never paid the guy any money for all this advice and stuff. Just a very, very good guy, very nice guy. And one of the things he talked about was food. Like he told me there were all these restaurants he never went to because he said, well, people have auras. And he said, well, actually, like you emanate this aura, these colors, right? And he said, places also have auras, and food has auras. And he talked about various restaurants having these gray auras, which meant that if you went there and ate, it was like it was sapping your positive energy. It was actually pulling energy out of your aura because of the negativity of the place. And the food, the way the food was prepared, which is really interesting when you think about it. And over the years, I've developed the ability to be able to walk into restaurants, and I immediately get a feeling this is a good place or a bad place. And there are times I just drive by a restaurant and go, yeah, I'm never going there, never going there. I just know instinctively, like, that's not a good place to go. And maybe it has to do with the food preparation or the energy of the owners, or I'm not sure what it is. Maybe they're microwaving all the food. I never use a microwave. I've never used a microwave unless I didn't know about it. I found there are restaurants that microwave your food, and if I know that, I'll never go back. But yeah, he was talking about how food has like an aura. And so there were certain things he just never ate because he could see these auras very clearly. And it actually made him feel kind of sick just looking at. He said if he had to walk into like a McDonald's or something, that was one of the places he really, really didn't like because the aura was so bad. And he just said there's no way he could do it. Just would make him sick, just walking in and feeling that heavy, heavy negative energy. And that's really interesting, isn't it? Now, I've actually avoided McDonald's and all kinds of restaurants, not just based on what he told me. Of course, what he told me, I took it into account and considered it whenever I went somewhere. But, then I got to where I could understand, oh, yeah, this is a good place, this is a bad place, go here, don't go here kind of thing. And I've noticed that they're like McDonald's, fast food places. For me, Burger King, some Burger Kings are okay. Some Burger Kings look good to me. The Burger King in the Osaka International Airport is fantastic. It's fantastic. It has such good energy in that place, and the food looks really good. Has just a positive vibe. You feel good eating it. There were a couple of Burger Kings in Malaysia. Same way. I felt really good. The Burger King at the airport, what is it called there in Kuala Lumpur? The low-cost carrier terminal, I think is the name of it. Low-cost carrier terminal. Yeah, the low-cost carrier terminal. You get up on the second floor. They've got a Burger King there, It's right next to a Texas Chicken, and Texas Chicken was pretty good, but not that location's Texas Chicken. Isn't that weird? So I would never go to that Texas Chicken next to the Burger King at that airport in Kuala Lumpur because it just had this really negative energy associated with it. But the Burger King was great. Now, there was another location where they had Texas Chicken. That was fantastic, and I would go there with my family. So it's really interesting, how you see this energy and it resonates with you. And that leads me to think, now there is a thing consider, this idea of kosher food. Now, I have heard a lot about this kosher, is something certified kosher or not certified kosher. And I've read a lot of information saying that this whole kosher thing is actually used to kind of extort money from companies. So I don't know about all of that, if it's true or not, but I'm just thinking, okay, I'll set all of that aside. All of that, controversy aside about the kosher issue, and just think, so there were people interested in how food was prepared. And of course, the Muslims with the halal food. Of course, I lived in a Muslim country for 7 years. I have a lot of questions about, is that really halal or not? It was maybe prepared a certain way, or imam, this a Muslim priest, imam, maybe he did a prayer over the food, but I can see there's flies all over it. There's flies all over that curry. You're telling me that's halal? Are those flies halal? So, it gets into a whole big thing where we could go back and forth and, is it really good or not? However, the idea behind it is that somebody had this idea that food should be prepared in a certain way. And so maybe along the way in history, there were people like myself and like this psychic that I told you about who could see the energy of food and understood how important it was for things to be prepared in a certain way. So lots to think about, huh? Okay, sorry about that. That's a very long digression, but just something I wanted to mention, about Christmas cakes in Japan, and then about the food issue and how food and restaurants have energy. Okay, let me switch gears here and get into our daily crypto update. Okay, here's the first slide, our first graphic. Okay, what do we got going here? Well, not a lot is happening in the prices, which is not surprising because it's the day after Christmas. It is for me. Well, it's still Christmas officially in America, I think, maybe for another hour or two in certain places. Okay, so if we look at the flesh-colored, peach-colored column there, that 1225 to 1226 price percent plus or minus, that's price increase or decrease. Of course, the red numbers are a decrease, black numbers are an increase. Right away, we can see that Tezos is down the most. It's down 4.73%, which is good. Yay, Tezos, keep going, keep going. I want to buy you back at a cheaper price. Okay, so everything is down except Doge and Monero. Now, Doge is up 2.56%, not a lot because Doge is, it's only 0.2 of a penny right now. It's got a long ways to go to $1 or whatever the price is that a lot of people are hoping it'll go to. So we got Doge there, and we got Monero. It's just slightly up. It's just holding above, 0% there. Everything else is down, right? Everything else is down somewhere between, 0% and this 4.73 of Tezos. Everything is down. So not a lot happening. Prices haven't really moved that much. If a price is up or down at 1%, it's not a huge deal. Looking at this purple column, the percent to all-time high, Neo Gas still looks great at 10,174%. PoonDX, of course, that's crazy, over 12,000%. Let's see, OMG, 4,500%. We got a lot of good-looking coins here, but like I said, remember, this is a good gauge. This is a good general gauge to let us know where some of these coins could go. However, we've got other coins, other amazing coins like, let's see, EOS. We've got Tezos. They have pretty low numbers, percent to all-time high, but I think they're going to be fantastic. And what was I going to mention about these coins? Oh, there's a guy that I watch. His name is Alessio something. I forget his name. He's Iranian, and I think he lives in England. I think so. He puts out a lot of very interesting videos about investing. He talks about cryptocurrencies once in a while. He just put out a video where he said the one cryptocurrency he's watching for next year is NEO. It's NEO. Isn't that amazing? I was like, yeah, I've been talking about that for like 6 months now, just on YouTube. And before that, I was watching it. So he thinks NEO is going to be one to watch. In a previous video, he also mentioned EOS, and he mentioned Tezos, and I can't remember the other one. He mentioned one other one, which I'm not following, so I don't remember it, but I think we're in good company here, the ones that we've got in our basket. Very solid projects. So yeah, that was good to hear someone who's in a completely different area, because he mostly deals with stocks, and now he's been dipping his toe into the cryptocurrency market for a while now, and that was interesting that he talked about NEO, because he normally only talks about Bitcoin. He doesn't get into altcoins very much. So that was nice to hear. Okay, and as an overview of all of these coins, the only one I would personally sell would be Tezos at 141. That's still well above my my sell target. However, I've already sold the amount that I wanted to sell at that price, so I won't be doing anything. And now I'm either hoping that Tezos will jump over the $2 mark, or it'll drop down much lower. So that would be a sell for me. And Pundi, of course, is still a crazy buy. And that's about all I would do. And I'm just waiting on the rest of these, like I mentioned before. We'll see where the price goes. I think we might have some movement after the holidays here. People have maybe pulled back their spending on cryptocurrencies, or maybe they've sold some in order to buy Christmas presents. So I would think, once the holidays are over, the reality of all of that Christmas shopping will set in for a lot of people. They'll look at the debt they have. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans, live, I'm just talking about America here. Sorry, I don't know much about Europe, or I have no experience with Europe, so I don't talk about that. But a lot of people, live paycheck to paycheck. So Christmas must be a pretty hard time for people, and maybe some people in cryptos are in the same boat. They've got cryptos and they're trying to balance that with, now they've got to add Christmas presents to the mix. So they're having a tough time. So I think we'll see some movement after the holidays. That's just my opinion. Whereas 2 years ago, well, in 2017, end of 2017, beginning of 2018, you had some people who became, Bitcoin rich, right? They cashed in their Bitcoin and made a ton of money, and think about that talk over New Year's, and into January. So then all of those people, got other people excited and their relatives excited. Now this year, everyone got together for Thanksgiving and Christmas, hey, how are the cryptos going? Oh man, they're in the toilet. They're not doing anything. They're down, this and that. So I would think some of that negative sentiment is going to maybe spread out a little bit. We'll see what happens. So I'm thinking we'll see some movement one way or the other. Let's see how it plays out. Okay, let's jump over to our market cap. Okay, if we look here, let's look at the daily percent change in market cap. That's that peach colored column there. Everything is down except Stellar. Stellar's just creeped up a little bit, 0.11%. Not a lot, not a lot. Everything is down as far as the market cap goes. Some of the trading volume is down. You know, yesterday, all of the trading volume was down except for Doge. And today we have a few that have creeped back up. You know, we've got Bitcoin Cash is up 23.12%. Tezos, this is the daily trading volume, sorry. The daily trading volume, that light colored column, you know, daily percent change in trading volume. Tezos is up 24.5%. Let's see, we got Cardano's up, Neo's up a little bit, Pundi is up, Neogas is up a tiny bit. And then we've got some that they've decreased. You know, the trading volume has decreased from yesterday. Veritasium down 29.19%. It was down 59.5% yesterday. So this might be a low for this month. That trading volume, that daily trading volume for Veritasium, that 1,897, if I'm remembering all of this correctly over the last, you know, since December 1st, I believe this is the lowest daily trading volume for Veritasium. Oh, sorry here, I'm getting pretty dry. And we can see that Theta is down 21.51%. Now the price of Theta was down, right? You know, Theta got up around 10 cents. You know, looking at it today, it's down about 1.37%. I think it was at 9 cents, right? 9.1 cents. So, you know, huge decrease there. I'm guessing, you know, for like Theta, this huge decrease, anyone who wanted to buy it or sell it, maybe they sold it at around 10 cents, thought that was a good exit point. So interest is dried up, and as we can see here, you know, for the last 2 days, it's been down. Yesterday, the trading volume was down 49%. Yeah, yesterday it was down 49.83% on Theta, and now it's down again. So possibly, you know, all the interested parties, you know, that wanted to get rid of it, got rid of it. And so the price went down a little bit. Let's see where it goes. Tezos, Tezos has got some increase here, 24.5%. What's going on with Tezos? Increased action, but the price has gone down. So I'm guessing this increase in action, although yesterday it was down 56%, I'm guessing maybe this increase is people selling, which has brought the price down. Okay, so not too much going on here. It's, you know, the 26th, the day after Christmas, and I took these numbers from the 25th, the evening of the 25th for me, which would be the morning of the 25th for, you know, everybody else in America, North America there. So probably there was not a lot of crypto trading taking place on Christmas, as we can, you know, see here. Yeah, the market caps, looking at the trading volume as a percent of market caps, everything looks pretty much like it was yesterday. You know, some things have increased, some things have decreased, not a lot. You know, the volumes, the coins with high volumes still have high volume. The ones with low volume still have low volume. So that's about all we have here today. Okay, everybody, I'll let you go. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm hoping that, you know, all of you are off today. You know, you're off for the holidays, at least a few days, you know, until till the new year. So you probably have leftovers from your Christmas dinner, or maybe you went somewhere and had dinner at someone's house and they sent you home with like a little, what they call it, a care package, you know, a little bit of food, some Christmas cookies and whatnot. So today you'll get a chance to munch on those. So just relax and think about, you know, all the great things you have in your life, all the things you're grateful for. That's what I'll be doing. Okay, everybody, take care, and I will see you tomorrow.